Welcome to We the Stakeholders, the Constitution as an Audit of Human Nature. I'm Roger Ngong, founder of Ngong Governance. Over the past 7 weeks, we have explored the principles that make governance legitimate. We have examined human nature. We then looked at separation of powers, the importance of dissent, the importance of evidence over intuition, human dignity, transparency, the rule of law. Together, those principles answer one important question: why is governance necessary? This week, the conversation shifts because principles alone do not build strong institutions. Institutions must be designed. The Constitution is more than a statement of values, it is an architecture of governance. And one of its most enduring design questions remains just as relevant today as it was back then. How should authority be distributed? One of the less discussed achievements of the American Constitution is that it didn't simply divide power, it distributed it. The founders understood that governing a diverse nation required more than a strong central government. It required room for local judgment, local knowledge, and local responsibility. That principle became federalism, and every growing organization eventually faces the same question: how much authority should remain at the center, and how much should be entrusted to those closest to the work? Human nature pulls us in two directions. When we are accountable for outcomes, we often want greater control. When we are responsible for execution, we want greater autonomy. Every organization lives within this tension. Boards seek assurance. Executives seek agility. Business units seek flexibility. Headquarters seeks consistency. None of those goals are wrong. The governance challenge is designing a system that achieves all of them. When authority becomes too centralized, institutions become rigid. Innovation slows. Local knowledge is overlooked. People disengage because decisions are made too far from where the work happens. But when authority becomes too decentralized, consistency begins to erode. Standards diverge. Risk may increase. And the institution starts behaving less like one organization and more like a disconnected one with several distinct and separate parts. Good governance is not about maximizing control. It is about placing decisions at the appropriate level while preserving accountability across the institution. That requires clarity. Who decides? Who advises? Who oversees? Who is accountable? Those questions matter far more than organizational charts. One pattern I've observed throughout my career is that organizations rarely fail because they centralize too much or delegated too much alone. They struggle because authority and accountability become separated. People become responsible for decisions they cannot make, or they make important decisions without being accountable for the consequences. That is where institutional drift often begins. As a first-generation immigrant, I've come to appreciate that enduring institutions are not built by concentrating power. They endure because they intentionally distribute authority while ensuring accountability remains clear. Perhaps that is one of the greatest lessons of the American experiment. Strong institutions do not confuse centralization with strength. They build systems where authority, accountability, responsibility, and trust reinforce one another. Because governance is not simply about limiting power, It's about designing institutions capable of using power wisely. I'm Roger Ngong. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week.